I want you to acknowledge that all these women are not like this. Now, I'm going to show you some numbers here in just a second because I want to I got to go dig up these numbers from, I think Big Mo sent them to me. I'll put them up here in just a second. But the idea is this, is like when women get to a point, especially when they get to Jedediah's age, okay? And this is not a cut on her age. She's 43 years old, okay? You could be 33 as well, okay? Once a woman gets to the point where she realizes that she's not as competitive in the sexual marketplace anymore as she used to be when she was 23, I will guarantee you the Jedediah of 43 is in no way like the girl who was 23, okay? So the choices she makes, the things she's attracted to, the methodologies, the behaviors, the manifestations of all this, all change over the course of 20, in this case, 20 years. Okay, it could be 10 years, right? So the response is well, what if you're looking for the one? What if you're looking? Essentially, that's what it is. It's what if you're looking for a long-term partner? Blah blah blah. Right? Oh, well, what if you are? Do you think is that the goal for going out? Is that the goal, or is it to have a good time? You know, I could probably have asked her this. Hey, have you ever had a same night lay? Have you ever had, same night sex? Have you ever met a guy and said, God, I gotta hit this. I gotta hit this. He's a hot guy in the foam cannon party. I was hot. He was, he was hot. I was drunk, and one thing led to another. Right? Whatever. I was drunk. He was cute, and one thing led to another. Hot guy in the foam cannon party. Have you ever had that moment? I will guarantee she probably said, I've never had such a thing. I've always been looking for a permanent husband, and I waited till I was 43 till I found it. Really? Let's see. When a woman gets to, especially this age, but when they get to, like, say, mid-30s or something, women forget who they were. They forget what they were like when they were 23. And so when they are reminded of that, like, here's the thing, is prior to the internet, prior to social media, prior to Fresh and Fit, prior to having all of these reminders of what a woman was like at 23 as to what she is like now, prior to all that, a woman could get away with this. I was never like that. And nobody's there to challenge it because they don't have, 20 plus years of digital media to remind her what she was like on Facebook or Instagram or whatever else it is, or video of it somewhere. You want to know why, like, guys get really pissed when they find out that their girl was, like, knocking it out with other guys in a sex tape. I mean, even back when it was like VHS or something, right? Or finding out that they're actually, they did yacht parties when they were, younger. I did this show with Myra when we talked about Paulina Porzakova. And she's like 57 years old, and she looks good for 57, and I'm sexually invisible, right? And Myra made this point that's the future forecast of what women today are going to be like when they get into their late 50s, because there's going to be all of this evidence, all this digital evidence. Why does a woman's sexual past make any difference? Well, the evolutionary reason is because men want to test for paternity. They want to. That's why men consider, like, long-term security. They're compromising their ability to spin plates with, I need to invest in this kid, and I need to know that this girl is a good investment, because if she's, like, hoeing around, or if she's been, like, doing yacht parties and everything, she's probably not, or she's had, multiple partners in the past that I can confirm from OnlyFans or whatever else. If I can confirm that, then I can, like, somewhere in the back of my head, my lizard brain says she's probably not a good bet for paternity. Now you can rationalize that away, and you can say equal partners this and all that other shit. But your hind brain and your evolved monkey brain says, she's probably not the best choice for someone who's going to, to ensure that the baby's my baby, and I ain't going to compromise my ability to go out and nail other chicks because this chick doesn't seem like a really good bet for that. Now, that might not actually be the case. That might not, not all women are like that, Rolo. Okay, even in that situation, the mechanics in the operative state are still the same. So when my monkey brain says, she's hanging out with Fresh on these yacht parties, and I saw this other girl, and she says she's got 50 notch count at 19 years old, and then she was married before, and she's still on Instagram after I wifed her up, or she's my girlfriend now, and she's still not showing me any signs of loyalty or dependability, or like that she's still, like, trying to remove herself from the sexual marketplace in any way. those are red flags. Those are most definitely red flags. But and even if she's like, I swear, on my mother's grave that I will be the most loyal, loving wife, and I will defer to your authority, and I love you unconditionally. Even in the best case scenario, your mind still says she's kind of a slut, and that sluttiness is not a best choice or best practice for my paternal interests as a guy, because she's given it up to guys who didn't have to jump through all these hoops, and now I have to jump through all these hoops, and I don't know that the child is going to be mine. Or maybe she's already got kids from that guy, and she wants me to take care of them, and that she promises she's going to be loyal, and I'm going to compromise my opportunity cost of going out and finding someone who isn't ran through and have babies with them, and who might be a better bet for paternity. Now, guys will also rationalize that away. Well, we're human beings, and we all make mistakes, and I got to forgive her, to forgive is divine and whatever, right? You can make rationalizations over that, but the operative state is still, you have to get over the fact that, that's what your hindbrain and your subconscious is saying to you. And when you bring that up and when you talk about that kind of stuff, like, that's not sexy. That's what I just told you. That's not date conversation, by the way. Never reveal the red pill to women, period. End of story. I've said in the past, I've been writing about this. I'll probably put this up on the blog. I've said in the past, never reveal the red pill, the machinations of what we talk about here in this environment, here on the show or on my book or whatever. One of the reasons why Frank Castling girls is a thing is because women can't handle the truth. They can't handle full disclosure. This is exactly what I'm trying to get across here, that I can't get a word in edgewise about. Women don't want full disclosure. They say they want the truth, and maybe that's true to an extent, but they don't want full disclosure. They don't want it all at once. They don't know how the game is played, or they don't want to know how the game is played. But when a woman gets to be 43 years old, then with the benefit of lived experience, every woman should be looking for that one permanent guy, because marriage is the goal. And how are we going to bring the fertility rates up if people are out there banging each other? Well, I can show you right now in the 2018 GSS studies that men ain't getting laid and women are getting laid at least 10 to 20% more than most guys, if they're getting laid at all. So there is still the mechanics that the operative state is men get laid far less than women get laid. And whether that's they're getting laid because they're in a relationship, or they're getting laid because they're spinning plates, or they're hooking up, whatever it is. I mean, we could talk about that all you want, but the fact is that guys are in one place, and a woman is, when she's 23, she's in one place, and when she's in 33, she's in another place. When she's 43, she's in another place, and she's trying to say, well, I'm 43 now and learn from my mistakes, or learn from what I think. Here's what I think all women are doing. So she jumps, and this is, by the way, this is what most women do, is when they're faced, remember the point of diminishing returns, when they're faced with a prospect of like not having a counter argument to something, they try to reframe it. Well, I'm a woman, and as a woman, I'm going to tell you what all women think. But you just told me a moment ago that not all women are like that. So if you're going to, ladies, you're watching this, you want to be red pill, you think red pill is going to like change your life or whatever. If you want to be red pill, you don't get it both ways. You don't get to say simultaneously, Rolo, you're wrong because not all women are like that. And then go, as a woman, let me speak for all women. So what is it? We're all special snowflakes and little individuals, or, everyone's their unique little, flower. But at the same time, you're going to tell me, well, let me explain something because I'm a woman, and I'm going to give you the perspective of a woman, and every woman on planet Earth will fucking agree with me from now until, back in our hunter-gatherer tribe days, because I'm on team woman. What is it? You speak for all women, or all women are different little individuals, right? What is it? Is there something that binds you all together in a template? And you don't get to say, well, case by case by case, okay? You don't get to go, oh, well, here I can speak for women, and here I can't, or here you're wrong because I want all women to be different than what you think, and then I'm going to speak for all women. So that's what she gets into quite a bit in here. And this is, by the way, when I have done episodes on solipsism, on female solipsism, I've explained this, is that female solipsism is endemic. It is a feature, actually, not a bug, of women's psyches. It's how their brains are wired. It had to be, because women are the vulnerable sex. So everything that occurs outside of themselves is something that only affects that one individual. It's hard, they can't think of anything else. And then the reason for that is because they need to be invested in their, like, obsessively invested in their own survival and the survival of any children that they have. That it's a good thing, actually, that women are solipsistic, at least from a evolutionary standpoint. Maybe today it can, like, lead to some really bad shit, but back in the day, evolution selected for solipsistic women, because if it didn't, we'd be dead. And you have to obsessively say, okay, it's about me. I'm the vulnerable. Protect me, provide for me, be parentally invested with me. Me. And now we're supposed to be equal partners. Well, we can't do that if women are. You will never get an egalitarian situation between men and women, because women's solipsism is innate. And you can teach and rationalize it away, or you can try to cover that's a firmware, so you can try to reprogram the firmware with the software. But most women today, particularly in a gynocentric social order, have no incentive to do that. That's why you get a AUDIBLE. So when that woman gets to be 43 years old, she can't think in any other way. This is the way it should have been. Yeah, I might have done something in my past, but that's not the way it should have been. And let me tell you what it is now. Well, I can't look at just one data point in one era. So I can't look at the Jedediah who's 43 and not also consider the Jedediah at 33, 23, and 13, right? You were different people. You were a different phase of maturity. You had different ways of thinking about things. You made different decisions. Your behavior manifested differently. You weren't always the same. You didn't come out of the womb going, you know what? I'm a tough bitch and I'm going to be a Republican, conservative Tricon talk show host pundit, right? You've not always been like that. You had to come into that at some point. It had to develop in you at some point. But it's interesting to me that when women get to that point, especially if she was 43 and she was single, we were having a much different conversation than we would if she's already married. So she's already cashed her chips in. Now with Jeremy and I'm not going to, people ask me well, you should hit on Jeremy and find out what he's all about. It doesn't matter in this case. But she thinks that her experience is the universal experience. And that is why you cannot teach or talk to women about the red pill. The red pill, in the sense that it's a praxeology, and the data and the questions that it asks is fundamentally opposed to women's solipsism. That's why. You can have those conversations if you want, but you will always reach the point of diminishing returns. Okay. Once again, let's look at this really quickly. Okay. Diminishing returns. Then you get to negative returns. Okay. Each added input into the diminishing return side. Okay. Each added input leads to a decreasing rate of output. It's best to stop somewhere within this phase. That's the problem. The point of maximum yield, that's the Frank Castle moment. Just so you know, point of maximum yield, right at the negative returns, that's when women are most likely to get booted off of Fresh and Fit, not because they had a problem with what they're saying, but because they get belligerent to the point where they have no counter argument to anything else. And anything past that is negative returns. That's usually when Byron goes, okay, get the fuck off.